The moral and intellectual greatness of the message brought by the final prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, testifies to its own truth. How is that possible? One way to look at it is from the lens of Plato, who famously argued in his triad of transcendental values that truth, beauty, and goodness or justice are actually inseparable. In that sense, appreciating the inherent beauty and goodness found in the Islamic lifestyle not only attracts us to its message, but it serves as a testament to the legitimacy of the final prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that he was in fact, in truth, a messenger of the divine. A second way that the message vouches for the prophethood of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is the fact that it aligns so well with the message of other previous prophets on fundamental creedal points. You know, interestingly, in the Bible, for instance, the book of Deuteronomy argues that a false prophet is revealed by his teachings. And so if he were to call you to evil teachings, such as worshiping other gods, then he's a false prophet. Even if he were able to perform great feats, such as predicting the future, the book says. But does he not call to goodness? Without that, he is not a true prophet. A third way is to marvel at the sheer volume of what's been documented of Muhammad's teachings, despite his brief 23-year ministry not being expected to offer all of this. The Quran, the scripture he brought from God, and the Sunnah, his lived and spoken example, can never be compared, for instance, with the Bible, because the latter is an aggregated historical canon that developing it spanned centuries. But with the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, his brief lifetime, his brief ministry offered so much depth, so much substance, on such a wide breadth, wide scope of teachings. It defined the person's relationship with their maker, people's relationships with each other, even codified our relationships with animals and even inanimate objects, providing all of this timeless wisdom on the individuals and the society's well-being at large, seemingly overnight. And from there, a person may be drawn to a fourth merit of the message of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, its internal consistency. You see a system and a message that informs theology, spiritual enlightenment, personal conduct, interpersonal behavior, civil laws, foreign policies, with all of these intricacies should not be expected. Yet the harmoniousness internally of this entire message is something that has caused many people to believe that is just beyond human sophistication. In other words, this is a balancing act that is more indicative of God's wisdom than any human construction. Fifth and finally, we can appreciate the message after its comprehensiveness through its profundity and its resilience, its ability to survive the test of time and the test of criticism in a way that other doctrines, other systems, other messages simply could not. In our age of technology, with the circulation of ideas through globalization, through the ability to fact check, people feel disillusioned by the teachings of Christianity and leave it for that reason more and more and more. But the same is not true with Islam. And not only do people leave Islam in smaller numbers at slower speeds, but we have on the opposite end the rapid growth of Islam, despite its many detractors, due to the veracity of the message brought by Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and how it can be appreciated even in our age in a way that other messages and systems cannot. No society, let alone an individual, has ever been able to devise a comparable system that offers such equilibrium and such holistic well-being to people of all walks of life.